Hey everybody, NecroVMX here, and it's time for part 6 of the McJuggernuggets expose. Now, before I get to the reasons, I want to address a few things. Firstly, it looks like I have gotten a lot more views recently on these videos, and that is a good thing, even if people are coming by to tell me to shut up or tell me to get a life or whatever, and I have gotten quite a bit of that. It's still a good thing. It's a good thing that the message is out there, even if not everybody is willing to hear it. So I don't really care about the hate. It doesn't really bother me. I've been on YouTube for 8 years, and I have had my share of trolls and haters, and I'm well beyond the point of it bothering me. That being said, it seems a little strange to me because most of the views were on part 5 of the expose. I find it strange that like so many people, thousands and thousands of people, went to that video and didn't start at the first one. I'm not complaining about it. I just think it's kind of odd. But that video certainly blew up. Maybe it went like a little bit viral. That could be the case. But anyway, I just want to address some of the things that people are saying. I'm not jealous. I don't get where that's coming from. I've been very sincere in this whole thing in my reasoning as to why I'm doing this. My reasons are very clear. I think Jesse's a scam artist. I think that he is taking advantage of children. He is accepting money and bribes, or has accepted money and bribes in the past from children who have sent him money. They have sent him merchandise. They have sent him some pretty expensive stuff, games, consoles, handheld machines, all sorts of stuff. And I think that people who accept money or bribes or merchandise from other people under false pretenses, that is fraud. That is unjust, and when you do it to children, it's kind of evil, and that's why I'm doing these videos. It's not because I'm jealous of his views, because, there are people who have even more views than him. There are people who have even more subscribers than him. I'm not even jealous of PewDiePie. PewDiePie is the #1 most subscribed person on YouTube, and he's doing almost exactly the same thing that I do. He's doing Let's Plays. And I don't think he's particularly good at it. That's not to say that I think he's jealous, that I think I'm jealous, or that I think he doesn't deserve the views and subscribers that he gets, because he plays to a very different demographic. He's popular with kids. I'm not in that demographic. I don't understand his popularity, but that's not to say that I'm mad about it. That being said, let's move on. So we're going to have another 25 reasons that McJuggernuggets' videos are fake and scripted in this, and we're starting with number 126. So last time we were talking about the Psycho Family Therapy video, and I want to continue talking about that. So we never see Dr. Nelson's face, which is odd. Jessie comes at her when she arrives via the back door of the house, I might add, not the front door. She comes through the back door with the camera already lowered, or rather Korn has the camera lowered, and he asks for her permission to film her, and then she says it's only okay if they don't show her face. So why is it like he already knew that she didn't want to be filmed? It can't possibly be out of respect. With anybody else that he films them with impunity. He doesn't care if someone doesn't want to be filmed. Hell, in recent videos, recent videos, as of when I wrote this, as of not right now, so it was a little while ago, he barged into his Aunt Melissa's house. His Aunt Melissa doesn't want to be filmed. He openly insults her on camera when she says that she doesn't want to be filmed. And in the scene of the crime video, he films the Voros plumbing employees who clearly do not want to be filmed. So why in this one instance, this one and only time, does he show respect and not film Dr. Nelson instead of, pointing the camera at her? Because it would be way easier to prove that Dr. Nelson is an actress if her face was shown. Of course, it's still very easy to prove that, but it would be way easier if we saw who she was. Number 127. I also want to say that Dr. Nelson is the world's worst therapist. Aside from coming to the patient's house, she lets the Ridgeways take control of the entire conversation. At no point does she have any control over it, instead letting it get to the point of a yelling match between Jesse and everyone else. She doesn't try to calm him down or remind him of any anger management techniques. Instead, she just sort of sits there, very rarely writing anything down, not audio recording, and basically only saying something when she's spoken to. She also agrees with the Scared Straight program even though actual studies and follow-ups with the people who went through it in the 70s has shown that it is actually detrimental and has the opposite effect that it was meant to have. Number 128. Dr. Nelson says that there are studies about violent video games causing violent behavior. Oh, really? It seems that no matter how many times they try to make a link between the two, they find that there is no relation whatsoever. No actual therapist would cite studies that say this because there aren't any. But of course Jesse wanted her to say this so that he would have an excuse to take off his shirt and flip off like a maniac. Number 129. In Psychiatric Evaluation / Psycho Update, which really contains neither, Jesse seems confused. Near the beginning, he mocks his therapist and his family for thinking that he plays too many video games, stating that he hardly has any time to play video games, as making and editing videos and managing his social media take up almost all of his time. Then, later on in the video, he states that him and his friends game every single day and that it is a huge part of his life. So which is it? Number 130. Psycho Dad Buries Video Games is pretty much just an elaborate advertisement for the Psycho Dad shirts that Jesse is trying to sell. Like I said, you should never trust someone that is trying to sell you something to be honest with you. Anyway, in this one, Jeff finds the Psycho Dad shirts and decides the logical response is to take the game stash that was revealed to him during Psycho Family Therapy, dig a huge hole in the backyard with his backhoe, and bury them because clearly all the violence in video games caused his son to make those shirts and disrespect him or something. Anyway, my issue with the beginning of the video is once again how fucking convenient it is. Jeffrey, of course, just happens to be filming his dad burying the games, and of course the video gets uploaded to Jesse's channel, despite the fact that Jeffrey has had his own channel for a while now. Then, of course, Jesse appears out of nowhere to witness it, despite the fact that it's happening outside, and as Jeffrey points out, Jesse never comes outside. Jesse replies by saying, "It's always a fucking problem when Jeffrey is filming, but, no, you didn't see that from the house. He might have heard the backhoe, but if you look when Jeffrey whips the camera up, Jesse has to walk around the pool and the pool deck to come into view, meaning that from the house he probably didn't see the backhoe or the hole, much less Jeffrey with the camera. He's coming out to the hole because it's in the script. He has to witness his games getting buried, scream like a jackass, take his shirt off for no discernible reason, or because he wants to be like Waffle Pone, and generally act pathetic." Number 131. Speaking of Jesse already knowing things, he immediately starts yelling, "Dad! Dad, what the hell are you doing?" when he sees his dad on the backhoe. Your dad's a landscaper, he has a backhoe. At this point, Jesse hasn't seen his games in the hole and should have no idea what is going on, but he comes out already upset and yelling at his dad, demanding answers. And no, it's not like he saw his games were missing from the basement and came looking, as he seems shocked to see them in the hole. Number 132. So, Jesse predictably spazzes the fuck out, takes off his shirt, dives into the hole, and starts flinging games out of the hole. Okay, he wants to save his precious 360 games, that makes sense, but then he randomly stops flinging them out of the hole, flings one at his brother, and then just stands there and yells at his dad. Jeffrey then zooms in on the load of dirt that Jeff has in the backhoe. Why zoom in on the dirt so closely when you have spazzing Jesse in the hole below? Because Jesse is getting into position. If you look at where Jesse is before the camera zooms, he's in the middle of the hole. But when he gets covered in dirt, he's closer to the edge where the dirt was dropped. We're supposed to believe that he would not stay out of the way of the dirt, or at least continue to save as many games as he can. Anyway, we never actually see the dirt fall on Jesse. We see the dirt falling, and then Jeffrey kind of freaks out and drops the camera to the ground while cursing. We hear a loud thump, probably him thumping the microphone against his leg. Anyway, this is to hide a jump cut, because now he brings the camera up and we see Jesse covered in dirt. His position doesn't make any sense, as his feet are near the games where he should have been standing, but he's pitched forward into the dirt. Why would he fall forward into the dirt is beyond me, as any person with two brain cells to occasionally rub together would dodge backwards if being showered in several pounds of dirt. Number 133. And of course we see Jesse easily get off and brush the dirt off. If you look at his position, we can see the majority of the dirt is below him, not above him, as it would have been if it was really dropped on his head, as he wanted you to believe. Number 134. After being buried, notice that all the games are still there. They weren't buried at this point, and Jesse could have easily have continued to fling them out of the hole. But suddenly, instead, he decides he wants out, and he leaves the hole to go clean off in the pool. I guess the games weren't that important anyway, eh? Notice also that his dad does not continue to fill the hole until after Jesse goes to the pool and comes back, because we can't have something important happen off camera, can we? We later see a whole series of videos of Jesse digging out his game slowly with his friends, or should I say his friends dig and he watches because he's a lazy fuck, but when he comes home from a trip from LA, we find out his dad dug up the rest of them before filling in the hole. We never find out why his dad would do that, but probably to make Jesse look like a shithead. It worked. Number 135. Moving on to Jesse Shatter's Big Brothers Award. This one is kind of conflicting for me. On the one hand, it is obviously, painfully, ridiculously fake. But on the other hand, the video is actually really good. Honestly, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If Jesse would come clean and admit that this is a series made only for entertainment purposes, he'd get a lot more respect as a writer and filmmaker. This video was really well edited, and I like the song that was used in it. Anyway, while Jeffrey is away, Jesse steals the silver play button Jeffrey got for his channel, and then breaks it with his Thor hammer. The issue with this is that although you see him go into Jeffrey's room and take the award, in the scene where it's being smashed, he's careful to use camera angles to not show the front of it, as he is in fact breaking his own play button, the one that was shipped broken, and the same one that was smashed by his dad. The problem is, this video is a lot like Psycho Kid Gets Arrested, in that he meant it to be believed, but too many people called him out on it being fake. Nobody believed the video, so he later said that it was fake to fool Jeffrey, and that his fans somehow knew it was only a prank and not real, acting like the fandom was in on it the whole time. Balls to you, Jesse. You intended people to believe it, and people called you out on it, so you reversed your position. Here's a tweet from Jesse that day alluding to him and Korn breaking the award, but giving no indication that it was a prank. And here's the description of the video, written exactly as any regular one of his videos, again giving no indication that it was all a prank. If it was a prank, and he didn't want Jeffrey to retaliate, why not tell him at the end of the video by showing the award safe and sound? He probably would have been like, okay, you got me, I was pissed, but it's not real. But making him believe it's real and then humiliating him on camera showing that it isn't? Yeah, not smart. Of course, even if it was a prank, how fucking stupid is he? Would he really expect no retaliation? Number 136. I also want to mention that a video this complex did not get made in a day. Jesse acts like he suddenly had the idea to break the play button, broke it, and then threw together a video. Except with the complex editing, including pulling clips from older videos and many shots in different locations, all set to music, this did not get made in a few hours. Probably it didn't even get made in a few days. Something like this had to be conceived, storyboarded, shot, edited. Oh, and he thanks the band XGF for letting him use the song. I'm sure he didn't find the exact song he wanted, contact the band, get permission to use it, monetize the video, and then edit the video to perfectly go with the song in just an afternoon. No, this happened over the course of weeks. Great video, but please, don't try to make us believe that it was spontaneous. Number 137. Let's briefly look at Destroying McJuggernuggets TV, which is a video from Jeffrey's channel. Jeffrey confronts Jesse about breaking the play button, threatening to destroy Jesse's TV. Jesse claims he didn't do it, and to prove it, he brings out the play button, which is perfectly safe and sound. Jeffrey demands that Jesse take down the video, but Jesse refuses, and Jeffrey breaks the TV anyway. Watch Jesse carefully right after he gives the play button back. He walks over to the TV to take it with him, and that's when Jeffrey opens fire with his paintball gun and then kicks it in. What's interesting is the path that Jesse takes. Instead of walking directly to the TV, he walks to the left side, almost as if he was going to circle around it to the back. Of course, with the small flat screen that probably weighs like 8 or 9 pounds, there's no reason to approach it in any particular fashion to pick it up. It fits comfortably under your arm. But Jesse takes a roundabout route instead of walking directly to it. Why? Well, because had he walked directly to the TV, he would have put himself between the TV and his brother, which would have been smart. Instead, he walks off to the side to give his brother a clear shot, and to keep himself well clear of the paintballs that he knows are coming. And by the way, in case you're a juggie and you're going to say if it's fake, why does Jesse's stuff get broken? I have to point out, yet again, that Jesse makes so much money from these videos that he can easily sacrifice things like small TVs, small electronics, or consoles to get big views and even more money, and even more fan mail crap out of children who sympathize with him. One last thing for this point. If you might ask, if Jesse was the one who planned this, why did this particular destruction video wind up on Jeffrey's channel instead? Well, all of these channels, McJuggernuggets, Rigid Gaming, Big Brother, Larry's Lounge, Georgie Stahlberger, Crocodile Buzz, they're all a part of Jesse's brand. And he cross-promotes his brand by doing crossovers, so to speak. Think of it in terms of, say, well, a comic book. If you are publishing a comic book that isn't selling so well, or you want bigger sales, you either have the character from that book appear in a more popular character's book to generate awareness of the lesser-known character, or you have a popular character appear in the lesser-known book to draw in fans of the bigger comic book. Jesse may be sloppy and fake, but he's not stupid. Jesse posts the update on his own channel, and he links to the original, so he's doing both of those tactics at the same time. Number 138. In Paintball TV Destruction Update, we find out that the entire time all this bullshit was going on, both of the parents were home. We're supposed to believe that Jeff and Terry just hung out in the bedroom while all this screaming was going on outside and in the house, and didn't once come out to find out what the hell was going on, or at least to tell them to knock it off with all the noise? Yeah, okay. Number 139. Psycho Dad Scares Children seems like the exact kind of video orchestrated to make the entire thing seem legit. It seems that every time people get really up in arms about the series being fake, Jesse uploads a video specifically designed to make it seem real. In this one, Jesse runs into some fans at a family campground. One of the kids refers to Jeff as Psycho Dad, which causes him to berate them for disrespecting him. He doesn't really yell or anything, he just kind of acts stern, and then he gets into an argument with their mother. Anyway, this appears to be real, except for one thing. At the beginning of the video, Jesse, his family, Aunt Melissa, and his girlfriend are walking down a road saying that they're going to see fireworks. They run into the kids, and then after that is all done, they turn back and they go the way they came. It's like the Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie show. When are they going to get to the fireworks factory? The family literally turns right around and goes in the opposite direction that they were headed in before meeting up with the Juggies. This pretty much proves that they were not on their way to see fireworks. Otherwise, why would they turn back? They were on their way to meet up with these two specific Juggies for this particular video. For all we know, the kids may not have been in on this. They may have met Jesse earlier in the day. Jesse found out where they were and staged the whole thing without telling them. Though I think it's more likely that they were in on it, since their mother knew exactly what to say to push Jeff's buttons, and the father can't help fanboying out and shaking Jeff's hand. Too bad. Try again next time, Jesse. Number 140. There's nothing overtly wrong with the video 4th of July Psycho Update, unless you're more familiar with the recent videos that Aunt Melissa is in. Previous to this, she had rarely appeared. She was in the Thanksgiving video, she did a reaction to 2 Girls, 1 Cup along with Terry, and was at the campground videos, but she only became a major character a few months ago. That being said, in this video, Aunt Melissa comments on Jesse's fans being at the campground, and that random people might not have any idea exactly how many people are going to see them online. She is clearly aware of Jesse's fame and success on YouTube and how many people see his videos. However, much later, when Terry supposedly moves in with her, she claims to be ignorant of Jesse's fame, stating that she thought the filming was just a hobby and that it wasn't actually online. Clearly, Jesse was trying to make her out to be a counterpart to his dad and made the same mistakes, creating continuity errors of just how aware Melissa is of his success on YouTube. Number 141. The video Big Brother and Uncle Larry exists to set up the next storyline where Jeffrey would refuse to take part in one of Uncle Larry's skits, which would get him banned from the family vacation, and then he'd destroy Jesse and Uncle Larry's belongings while at home, creating more family tension. The entire thing doesn't make much sense. In this video, and the whole thing is clearly there to set up the next series of events. I'll get into why I don't believe for a second that Jeffrey was ever going to go on vacation with them at a future point, but first let me point out something. In this video, Jesse is going to go over to Uncle Larry's house and asks Jeffrey to come with him. Apparently, during the 4th of July, Uncle Larry watched the dogs, which is somehow a personal favor to Jeffrey in particular, not anyone else in the family, which is weird. Anyway, Jeffrey promised to be in a skit in exchange for this, and Jesse says that he's tired of being the intermediary between them and that Jeffrey needs to come with him to talk to Uncle Larry about this. But why would he need to do that? Larry doesn't show him anything, just tells him when he wants to film, and the filming winds up taking place at the Ridgway household anyway, not at Larry's house. So what information is conveyed that Larry couldn't pick up a phone and call Jeffrey or just shoot him a text? Because it all had to be on camera, and the only way for Jesse to get the entire agreement was to have them together. Number 142. So next we have Kung Fu Fighting Psycho Update, which is an update to a video that didn't even come out yet, proving to me that Jesse has done all these ahead of time and he uploads them later. Otherwise, why would he upload a video that is an update for a Psycho video before he actually uploads the Psycho video? Clearly he has them already uploaded and he made a mistake programming when they were going to go live. And this isn't just a matter of one going up a few hours before the other one. The update was put up a full day before the Psycho video. Number 143. So I have to ask, if this Kung Yu sketch was supposed to be on Larry's channel, using his props and his script and all that, why oh why was it filmed at the Ridgway place? While it is true that they have lots of woods and the filming was there for the first video, it's also true that Larry's place seems to have lots of woods as well, and he filmed his caveman sketch with Tom there. Of course, we know the reason, so Jesse could get all the drama on camera, showing the makeup and everything leading up to Jeffrey's big blow-up. It's quite obvious that the Kung Yu 2 sketch was never intended to actually be put up, and even Larry's promise of recasting it and redoing the whole thing wound up meaning nothing, as it was never made and likely was never intended to be made. Just saying. Number 144. So then we have the main video, Psycho Brothers Kung Fu Freakout, where Jeffrey refuses to go forward with the sketch, leading him and Larry getting into an argument, Larry banning him from coming on vacation. Larry would later claim that the sketch was not the reason for the ban, but rather that Jeffrey said fuck you to him. However, Jeffrey actually doesn't say that until after he's banned from coming on vacation, with Larry clearly stating, if you ain't going to be in the skit, then you ain't going, at about 4 minutes and 21 seconds into the video. Yes, the captions are incorrect here. And here's the exact moment that Jeffrey says fuck you to Larry 5 minutes and 58 seconds into the video. Inconsistencies are inconsistent. Of course, as I'll later prove to you, Jeffrey was never going to go on vacation anyway, and this was likely done opportunistically since he wasn't going. Number 145, and no big brothers allowed, Jesse once again insinuates that the Kung Yu 2 sketch will still be made, saying that he's bringing the costume to do shots for Larry's channel. But of course that never happened and was likely never intended to happen. Number 146, so let's talk about the video McJuggernuggets Halo Helmet Destruction, which is on Jeffrey's channel. Jeffrey's home, and he's upset about not going on vacation with his family, so he steals Jeffrey's limited edition Halo 3 Master Chief helmet and destroys it. But it's clear that despite supposedly being upset, Jeffrey was never planning on going to the vacation anyway. Well, how do I come to this conclusion? Well, they didn't take the dogs with them, which would leave the dogs home alone with Jeffrey. If the family was going to go off for a full week and leave the dogs at home, and Jeffrey was planning on going, who was going to take care of the dogs? And if they were planning on bringing the dogs with them, why didn't they do that? While it is true that they may have arranged for the dogs to stay at a kennel and then canceled this while Jeffrey was to stay home, it's never mentioned by anyone as a possible good reason why Jeffrey was banned from the vacation. Just saying. Not to mention that in Jesse's reaction video, he claims to have been trying to fight for Jeffrey driving up himself later on in the week, and Larry even later offers that on camera, so what was he going to do, pile 3 dogs into the car and drive down? Number 147. Another thing is the hilarious thought of Jesse locking his room. He locked the room specifically to keep Jeffrey from messing with any of his things, but somehow he forgot the lockpick that they kept nearby. What's stranger is that Jesse claims that he taught Jeffrey how to use the lockpick. this is one of those things that you either have to believe that it's all set up, or that Jesse is mind-destroyingly stupid. Number 148. In the video North Carolina House Tour, Jesse starts off by mentioning that a local radio station had announced his arrival in North Carolina. This is despite the fact that he never in a previous video stated exactly where he was staying, just that his family was going there for vacation. But apparently the radio station knew about it, and he mentions that a fan approached him already and said that everybody knows where he's staying. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Clearly Jesse told them that he was coming in advance, or he called the radio station when he got there. How else would they know what city in North Carolina he was in, much less exactly where he was staying? And if you think maybe they didn't know exactly, well, later on we find people from the radio station came and visited him. Number 149. In Gaming Interrupted, we find out that the radio station had come to visit the family, as well as dropping off merchandise and beer for Jeff and Larry. So why didn't we see this? Jesse films everything, right? He mentioned something about his SD card being unavailable because he was uploading the Epic Kayaking Adventures video, but I don't buy it. Larry also had a camera that he could have borrowed, not to mention the GoPro that Larry brought on the kayak video, and I find it hard to believe that Jesse didn't have a backup SD card with him. And number 150. Later in the video, Jesse claims to have mono, which he then spins into the next video, Jesse Gets Mono. Now, there's a lot about his whole supposed medical condition that doesn't really ring true, but before getting into every little detail about how his story changed multiple times and all the evidence numerous times over that he's completely fabricating the whole thing, let me just point out one simple thing. I'll get to all that other stuff as it comes up, but for here, right now, who diagnosed Jesse with mono? He complains that his neck hurts, and that he feels sick. He mentions pain in his side, which he says is his spleen, and declares that he has mono, guessing that maybe he caught it from Juliet, who had it in the past, and it's dormant in your system after that. Here's where the story falls apart. Firstly, Jesse is on vacation, and he does not see a doctor. He diagnoses himself, which is an awful idea for awful people. Secondly, he mentions that he had the pain in his side for a while, and he thought it was from shoveling his games out of the pit that his father buried them in, but now he believes that it's his spleen. However, while it is true that mono can attack the spleen and cause severe issues down there, some people even need to have it removed surgically due to severe mono cases. This is only in severe cases when it remains untreated. He would get sick first and then have pain in his side later, not the other way around. Thirdly, Jesse is vague about exactly when Juliet had mono, but his language leads us to believe that it was long ago, possibly before they met. Mono can be passed on from right when you get it for up to maybe around a year and a half later, but not for the rest of your life. Yes, the virus stays dormant in your body, but that doesn't mean that you're contagious. Now, it is possible that Jesse indeed did have mono around this time and used it as part of his story. But the fact remains that he certainly did not get seen by a doctor at any point on the vacation, and he goes from just fine and happily going fishing and playing video games with his cousin to being extremely tired and clutching at his spleen within like a day. It doesn't work like that. Well, that's going to be it for part 6. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that maybe at least one or two juggies saw this who might have thought that it was real before, and maybe now they're starting to realize that it's not. That being said, there will be more parts. I don't know when. I'm still writing the next one. The next one's not quite done yet. And then there'll probably be more after that. Right now I only have about 8 points for the next video, but I've been kind of lazy about watching his videos recently because I'm kind of sick of Jesse, but I'm going to have to go back and continue to work on it because I do want to do more of these. Anyway, I'll see you.